if you have to get a basic understanding of Tantra, one of the books I was the Principles of Tantra Shastra, Shakta and Shakti and etc., written by Arthur Avalon. Arthur Avalon was...
The worlds, lokas. This earth, which is the object of the physical senses and of the knowledge base thereon, is but one of 14 worlds or regions placed above and below it, of which, as the sutra says, knowledge may be obtained by meditation on the solar nerve, nadi, susumna in the Mirudanda. On this nadi 6 of the upper worlds are threaded, the 7th and highest overhanging it, in the Sahasrara Padma, the 1,000-petaled lotus. The sphere of earth, Bhurloka, with its continents, their mountains and rivers, and with its oceans, is the 7th or lowest of the upper worlds. Beneath it are the hells and netherworld, the names of which are given below. Above the terrestrial sphere is Bhuvarloka, or the atmospheric sphere known as the Antariksa, extending from the earth to the sun, in which the Siddhas and other celestial beings, Devyuni, of the upper air dwell. From the sun to the pole star, Dhruv, is Swarloka, or the heavenly sphere. Heaven, Swarga, is that which delights the mind, as hell, Narka, is that which gives it pain. In the former is the abode of the Deva and the blessed. These 3 spheres are the regions of the consequences of work, and are termed transitory as compared with the 3 high spheres and the 4th, which is of a mixed character. When the jiva has received his reward, he is reborn again on earth. For it is not good action, but the knowledge of the Atma which procures liberation, moksha. Above Swarloka is Maharloka, and above it the 3 ascending regions known as the Janaloka, Tapoloka, and Satyaloka, each inhabited by various forms of celestial intelligence of higher and higher degree. Below the earth, Bha, and above the netherworlds are the hells, commencing with Avici, and of which, according to popular theology, there are 34, though it is elsewhere said there are as many hells as there are offenses for which particular punishments are meted out. Of these 6 are known as the great hells. Hinduism, however, even when popular, knows nothing of a hell of eternal torment. To it nothing is eternal but the Brahman. Issuing from the hells the jiva is again reborn to make its future. Below the hells are the 7 netherworlds, Sutla, Vitala, Taltala, Mahatala, Rasatla, Atala, and Patala, where, according to the Puranas, dwell the Naga serpent divinities, brilliant with jewels, and Danvas wonder, fascinating even the most austere. Yet below Patala is the form of Vishnu proceeding from the dark quality, Tamoguna, known as the Sesa serpent or Ananta, bearing the entire world as a diadem, attended by his Sakti Varuni, his own embodied radiance. Inhabitants of the worlds. The worlds are inhabited by countless grades of beings, ranging from the highest devas, of whom there are many classes and degrees, to the lowest animal life. The scale of beings runs from the shining manifestations to the spirit of those in which it is so veiled that it would seem almost to have disappeared in its material covering. There is but one light, one spirit, whose manifestations are many. A flame enclosed in a clear glass loses but little of its brilliancy. If we substitute for the glass, paper, or some other more opaque yet transparent substance, the light is dimmer. A covering of metal may be so dense as to exclude from sight the rays of light, which yet burns within with an equal brilliancy. As a fact, all such veiling forms are Maya. They are none the less true for those who live in and are themselves part of the Mayic world. Deva, or heavenly and shining one, for spirit is light and self-manifestation, is applicable to those descending yet high manifestations of the Brahman, such as the 7 Sivas, including the Trinity, Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Devi again is the title of the Supreme Mother herself, and is again applied to the manifold forms assumed by the One only. May, such as Kali, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Gauri, Gayatri, Samdhya, and others, in the sense also in which it is said, verily, in the beginning there was the Brahman. It created the Devas. The latter term also includes lofty intelligences belonging to the created world intermediate between Iswara, himself a Purusha, and man, who in the person of the Brahman is known as Earth Deva, Bhudeva. These spirits are of varying degrees, for there are no breaks in the creation, which represents an apparent descent of the Brahman in gradually lowered forms. Throughout these forms play the divine currents of Pravritti and Nivarti, the latter drawing to itself that which the former has sent forth. Deva, Jiva, and Jada, in organic matter, are, in their real, as opposed to their phenomenal and illusory being, the one Brahman, which appears thus to be other than itself through its connection with the upadhi or limiting conditions with which ignorance, avidya, invests it. Therefore, all beings which are the object of worship are each of them, but the Brahman seen, though the veil of avidya. Though the worshippers of Devas may not know it, their worship is in reality the worship of the Brahman. And hence the Mahanirvana Tantra says that, as all streams flow to the ocean, so the worship given to any Deva is received by the Brahman. On the other hand, those who, knowing this, worship the Devas, do so as manifestations of Brahman, and thus worship it immediately. The sun, the most glorious symbol in the physical world, is the Mike vesture of her who is clothed with the sun. In the lower ranks of the celestial hierarchy are the Divyonis, some of whom are mentioned in the opening verses of the first chapter of the text. The Devas are of 2 classes, unborn, Ajta, that is, those which have not, and those which have Sadhya, evolved from humanity, as in the case of King Nahusa, who became Indra. Opposed to the divine hosts are the Asura, Danava, Daitya, Rakshasa, who, with other spirits, represent the tamasic or demonic element in creation. All Devas, from the highest downwards, are subordinate to both time and karma. So it is said, salutation to karma, over which not even Vidhi, Brahma, prevails, namastat karma bhyo vidhirapina yebhya prabhavti. The rendering of the term Deva as God has led to a misapprehension of Hindu thought. The use of the term angel may also mislead, for though the world of Devas has in some respects analogy to the angelic choirs, the Christian conception of these beings, their origin and functions, does not include, but in fact excludes, other ideas connoted by the Sanskrit term. The Pitters, or fathers, are a creation, according to some, separate from the predecessors of humanity, and are, according to others, the lunar ancestry who are addressed in prayer with the Devas. From Brahma, who is known as the grandfather, Pitamaha of the human race, issued Marichi, Atri, and others, his mental sons, the Agniswatta, Somsya, Havismante, Usmape, and other classes of Pitters, numbering, according to the Markandeya Purana, 31. Tarpanam, or oblation, is daily offered to these Pitters. The term is also applied to the human ancestors of the worshipper, generally up to the 7th generation, to whom in Shraddha, the obsequial rites, Pinda and water are offered with the mantra, Swadha. The rishis are seers who know, and by their knowledge are the makers of straw and see all mantras. The word comes from the root rs. Rs ati prapnoti sarvam mantram janena pashati sangasra prangav, etc. The 7 great rishis or saptars is of the first Manvantara are Marisi, Atri, Angiras, Pulha, Kratu, Pulastya, and Vasisht. In other Manvantaras, there are other saptasis. In the present Manvantara, the seven are Kashyapa, Atri, Vasisht, Visvamitra, Gautama, Jamdagni, Bharadwaja. To the rishis the Vedas were revealed. Vyas taught the Rigveda, so revealed to Pala. The Yajurveda to Vasampaina, the Samaveda to Jamini, Atharvaveda to Sumantu, and Itihasa and Purana to Suta. The three chief classes of Arisais are the Brahmarsi, born of the mind of Brahma, the Devarsi of lower rank, and Rajarsi or kings who became rishis through their knowledge and austerities, such as Janka, Ratparna, etc. The Shrutarsi are makers of Sastras, as Susrita. The Kandarsi are of the Karma Kanda, such as Jamini. The Muni, who may be a Rishi, is a sage. Muni is so called on account of his Mannam, Mannat Muni Rusiate. Mananam is that thought, investigation, and discussion which marks the independent thinking mind. First there is Shravanam, listening, then Mananam, which is the thinking or understanding, discussion upon, and testing of what is heard as opposed to the mere acceptance on trust of the lower intelligence. These two are followed by Nididhyasnam, which is attention and profound meditation on the conclusions, Siddhant, drawn from what is so heard and reasoned upon. As the Mahabharat says, the Vedas differ, and so do the Smritis. No one is a Muni who has no independent opinion of his own, naso muniryasya matamna bhinnam. The human being is called Jiva, that is, the embodied Atma possessed by egoism, and of the notion that it directs the Puryastaka, namely, the five organs of action, Karmendriya, the five organs of perception, Gnanendriya, the fourfold Antakarna or mental self, Manas, Buddhi, Ahamkara, Sitta, the five vital airs, Prana, the five elements, Kama, desire, Karma, action and its results, and Avidya, illusion. When these false notions are destroyed, the embodiment is destroyed, and the wearer of the Maya garment attains nirvana. When the jiva is absorbed in Brahman, there is no longer any jiva remaining as such.